Greetings, folks. Welcome to a Florida Cemetery channel. I'm a Florida Golden Girl, your host. Today's travel adventure takes us to Mount Dora. Finally, we are going to see the David Bowie Memphis collection at the Modernism Museum here in Mount Dora. I'd like to introduce my co-host, formerly known as my sidekick. It's my co-host. Good morning, co-host.
We officially changed the name to co-host because I think it's very fitting.
Yes,
it doesn't sound like I'm a horse.
Because they pretty much want to see you. I mean, you're here.
Okay, so now that I am the co-host, that means we share everything. So let's go.
So this collection is from the David Bowie Estate. And so this is the price of admission. It's only open from Thursday to Saturday, and these are the prices.
We're going to walk back to the 1980s.
1980,
Okay.
sounds good.
1980s,
So,
when the
folks-
Memphis Design Group was in their glory. And we'll go to the right over here. Come around.
She's going to give us a little bit of
So
a
what
pre-introduction.
you see on the exhibition floor, all that you see here was created and designed by the Memphis Design Group, and this is their photograph here on the wall. So this is 1981 in Italy, starting with the older Italian gentleman on the right, Ettore Sottsass. He was 62 years old at the time, a respected architect, artist, and designer, and if that wasn't enough to do in one's lifetime, he decided to do one more thing, which is he wanted to get a group of artists and designers around him with the goal of pushing the boundaries of what modern art could look like in people's homes, and he did that. And what I love about this photograph is the contrast between Ettore in his 62 years of wisdom and knowledge and serenity, and the group of very, very, very young artists and designers that he collected around him. They're so full of youthful enthusiasm, they're just like vibrating off of the photograph here. And I personally think that Ettore did this on purpose, that he purposely sought very young artists and designers, and it makes sense that if you want to break a long-standing design tradition, that you look for artists and designers whose minds are open and ready to envision something new. And so this is sort of the beginning group of the Memphis design.
So was he Japanese?
No, Italian.
Ah,
These
okay.
are
Got it.
Italians at first. And so later he invited in other artists who had the same vibe, let's say. So there were Japanese artists, there was an American artist, there were other artists he invited into the group. But this little core started in Italy and Milan. And so Ettore would simply invite them to his house, into his living room. They would listen to records, they would sit together, they would talk through this feeling of this new expression of modern art. How could it feel? How could it look? And they would sketch. And when I look at the sketches, I really think what they did is they just went back to the three fundamentals of all visual art. All visual art's composed of lines, shapes, and color. And when you look at the work, they're not hiding that. They're celebrating. This is all lines, shapes, and colors.
Beautiful.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
But at the core of it is just really good, strong design. And I believe that's Ettore's influence with this group. And so 1981, they came out with their first collection, and it was well received. And then something happened over time where the look of Memphis became associated with the whole decade. Like, this is the 80s look, sort of like a Swatch watch. It's the 80s. And I think that happened for two reasons. One, those of us who were there in the early 80s of a certain age thought that we were so fresh and new. We're the 80s, you know, we're not the old 70s. We were looking for something new. But that's every generation coming up does this. It was the second thing that I think really pushed Memphis design to become the 80s look. And this was something new, something never seen before, and it was MTV. MTV came out.
Yeah.
And it was such a force, and they took the look of Memphis as their branding. And so their logo was flashing, these colors and patterns, and all their programming had this look about it, had this feel about it, and that youthful exuberance was through the charts with MTV. And so I think unintentionally, MTV disseminated the look of Memphis everywhere. So as a group of artists and designers, they fell in love with the color that you see here. As designers then, they had to solve the problem, the dilemma of how are we going to get this color onto the furniture? And this piece right behind you, I can show you what they decided to use and what they used very, very well. So this piece was designed by Ettore, 1981, that first collection coming out with a big grand piece. And they decided to use laminate. Now, laminate's like a cheap countertop even today. So some people might have been like, wait, your big art designers are doing laminate, and I'm sure Ettore would have answered that you haven't seen it until Memphis has designed the pieces. So the delight of laminate, I'm sure for the designer, is yes, you could get every color you imagine onto your piece of work. But the thing about laminate is it doesn't have to just be a color. You can make laminate look like anything, which for designers, that's a blank canvas. How much fun is that? So for example, in the yellow room over there, the tall wood cabinet, none of it is wood, that's all laminate. Same with the little circle side of this table, like a cowhide or the stripes on this piece. You could do anything, and part of the anything that Memphis introduced into the 80s was graphic prints. And that had a life of its own in the 80s. So on the bottom of Ettore's piece is a graphic print that they call Bacteria, which is really aptly named. And so Memphis Design Group could design almost anything for your house. So here's bookcase, desk, table, chairs, lamps, rugs, even dinnerware.
Wow.
You could live surrounded by Memphis. And that's where David Bowie comes in.
Okay.
David Bowie, I would use our words today and call him a super fan of Memphis. He got Memphis in a way that most people don't, and I think because he was the kind of artist that constantly pushed boundaries. He reinvented himself, his look, his music over and over and over again. And so he had an appreciation for Memphis also in that search to push the boundaries type of thing. So he had over 100 pieces of Memphis himself. And in 2016, when he passed, his collection went up for auction, and the museum was able to get some, including this bookcase. Right
So
here.
how many pieces here belong to David Bowie?
There's a dozen
Okay.
on display.
Okay.
So as you go through, you'll be able to tell because the labels will have a little gold star in the corner. So those are his personal pieces. And I just love the bookcase by Ettore. Just, David Bowie is known as an avid reader. And so I imagine this covered with books that...
Oh, that's a shame you couldn't get any of the books. Wow, that would have been
I don't know
cool.
if they were sold at the same auction, but
Right.
that would have been lovely to see.
It would have.
What was the inspiration behind the museum wanting to go and buy some pieces from David Bowie's estate?
The collectors it's a family-owned museum, and they are collectors, and so they had been collecting Memphis. They collect a larger range than just Memphis, but when that amount of Memphis goes up for sale, you collect, you need to be aware
I understand.
and on for it. So part of my delight is that we do have these personal pieces from David Bowie, but also my other part of delight is that we have so much Memphis to share with everyone.
That's cool.
That it's very unusual, and you get that experience of walking in and being surrounded by Memphis like a Bowie's home would have been. And it just gives you a different kind of feeling when you can see more than just one piece, how they communicate together, and you get that joy of design and that youthful enthusiasm definitely shines through.
So
in
were you a
all
child
this.
of the 80s?
I was a child of
So
the
was I.
80s.
So we were-
So I spent most of my time in Europe during the 80s.
Yeah.
So it was just a different vibe back then.
I was in Europe, it was in Germany until 85, so I
Oh, really? Where were
definitely-
you at in Germany?
My father was stationed in Stuttgart and I was in school in Munich.
Okay, so my family's from Munich, and I was stationed in Frankfurt.
There you go.
And so we had friends in Stuttgart,
I
so
was born in
Yes.
Stuttgart.
There you go.
yeah.
So we all know that circle.
Right.
And you saw it happening around the way the colors shifted and way like hotel lobbies started to change out into these wonderful bright,
I remember.
capturing, and it went into the fashion very quickly too. So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
Everything was
remember.
always bright.
Yes, and I came back
That was
in,
the fashion.
what was it, 85, and I was wearing these little red boots and like
Yeah, I
pinks
was
and
too,
purples,
yes,
and,
yes.
And people would stop me on the street and be like, where did you get like boots like this? I was like, and then I realized how
Yeah.
fashion will travel slower into.
So where did your father go from Germany? What was his next duty station?
Oh wait, yeah.
Pentagon.
But did he go to the Pentagon right after? Yeah.
We didn't get to the Pentagon until,
90s.
yeah, I ended up at the Pentagon
Early
for 13 years,
I
starting in
actually ended up working
92.
there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really? Where were you at?
Oh goodness,
Because,
I was in the inner ring. I had a door I could see out to the inner ring.
okay, okay,
Okay,
not far
yeah,
from the
okay.
courtyard?
The court.
Or near the food
I was
court?
right on the edge of where the Marines would give the tour.
Oh,
with the
okay,
flags.
I know, okay, I know, yeah.
That's where I was.
Yeah, no, I started out in the A ring, so we were not far from South Park, and we were between A and E. And then when the Pentagon underwent renovation, we got kicked out, and we were in Crystal City.
Okay.
So we were, if you're familiar with Crystal City, Army Navy Drive, and then Army Navy Drive, kind of like you pass Pentagon Mall, you go straight down, and then Crystal Drive, it becomes Crystal Drive, and so we were at JP1.
Okay.
So JP1, JP2, which was Army, Reserve, and National Guard, that all in 2013, they is millions of dollars that they poured in that building. And then when we went back into the Pentagon, they tore all of that down, and now it's all back to apartments again.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. It's funny how things changed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well. Yeah. And so it was interesting.
I
there in
love
the
I
80s.
love being in the Pentagon.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was only there for a year, but I enjoyed it very much. And I was actually working in this little chain that had at the top the highest ranking female in the non-service.
Oh,
in the
yeah.
government. Her
Yeah.
name was Bunny, and man, she was a dragon. But
Did
I
you like
loved
Did you like the elevators?
Oh my God.
What a coincidence. So, this is called the Carlton, and it says is arguably the most iconic Memphis design. So this piece was owned by David Bowie. And so, did I know this designer? No, because in the 80s I was military. I mean, my influences were from MTV and from the music scene. So it was an interesting time. And then there's David Bowie right there. I mean, I love David Bowie. He was just an iconic guy. And so this was not owned by David Bowie. And so this is circa 2012, and it's called Wendell Castle.
We do have a video
Okay.
that tells you a little more about Memphis, dives deeper into the designers and a little bit of Bowie. And
Okay.
I can pop it on at any point. It's old school. Have to turn it on with a remote.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
my name's Victoria. If you want to see it, just give me a shout.
Okay.
and I'll turn it
Oh,
on.
thank you. I appreciate it. It's nice meeting somebody.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
There's very few people who understand that kind of life.
No,
Yeah.
no.
It's
Nobody-
a different, it was, I don't know, in the 80s and 90s, it was just, we just did it out of the spur. We
Yeah.
just,
Yeah, but we loved our time in
I mean,
Virginia
I
too.
loved
Yeah.
the career, I did a career, she did the career.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It was security,
Yeah.
Yep.
so, but,
And that was the right time.
I
to
love
serve, too.
DC. I just,
Oh,
it was the
yeah.
right time.
Yeah.
It was.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it was
We
a good
used to get all the cool tours at the White House. We used to do the back tours. So you had two different types of tours, depending upon who you know. We've been to so many of those backlot tours.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
And I was kind of disappointed, I didn't want to leave DC. She wanted
we ended up going to Texas. We
Yeah.
spent 9 years
Yeah,
there.
transferred to Texas.
Yeah,
Okay. Very cool.
not a bad life though.
No. I mean, that's the way I grew up. That's all I knew.
I mean,
And
that's
so,
Yeah.
the same thing, my dad was military.
right.
that's
So you
all I-
understand it. When I wasn't, in fact, my husband I had married was a Navy pilot in school, but hurt himself and got out of the Navy. And I was like, oh, now this is going to be a different life.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I understand. Well, thank you, ma'am. And so, we'll see if we're interested in that video. So this is not a piece that was owned by, David Bowie, but it's at Hollywood 1983, and this is Peter Shire. He was the only American artist to make contributions to Memphis. I'll bet a little bit more about this, about what Memphis design is, in the description box below. But isn't that a cool piece? I mean, I want to say, so the material is laminate. Oh, and that's glass. And I think that's probably a table. Isn't that cool? And this,
That's amazing.
so this is Wendell Castle, and this is called a Calgary piano. And this is 1990. And it just says that Steinway commissioned a one-of-a-kind art case piano, and it was inspired by the German expressionist film called The Cabinet of Calgary, 1920. So you can see, do you see that? This would be a piece that would need to be restored, but it's a working piano. It is cold in here. And then it says, if you do not expect the unexpected, you will not find it. Yeah. This is called Castilian. And this is a laminate plastic bookcase. I mean, isn't that cool? I mean, that looks like that could be tic-tac-toe. And then this is another laminate piece. And this was owned by David Bowie. If after we go here, we're going over to the gift shop because I want to see what they got. So this is Casablanca 1981, and this is one of the many pieces from the first Memphis collection in 1981. And it was named after a luxury hotel such as the Casablanca, which is named after an Art Deco hotel in Miami. I like the piece, I just don't like that. I don't like the design on it. And this is kind of cool. And this is I Saw You at the Rainbow Theater. mirrors to this. Isn't that cool? I really like that. I have been wanting to come to this exhibit for such a long time. So this is called Plaza, and this is not owned by David Bowie. And it says draws from the Art Deco and Old Hollywood period. And so this is... Now I'm filming this from the side view to give you the full effect, and besides, you know, the piece is more, it's all about the piece, not anything else. Isn't that cool? And then this is, so there is my co-host. Well, co-host, what do you think so far?
Pretty cool. I noticed David Bowie's furniture items were actually extraordinaire, you know, extravagant, put it that way. So, like that piece right there, see how it's extravagant? That's his piece. Right here, that's his piece too. See how extravagant it is?
Yeah. The one, see where it says the ceramic vase and bowls were designed by Sottsass in '58, and then they were reproduced. Now I like that. And then this is a David Bowie piece. So this is it's the post-Memphis bookcase. And this was owned by David Bowie. No, I love that. Isn't that cool? So, this is not a David Bowie piece. But I like that. Isn't that cool? That's like, I don't like but boy, I like that mirror in that is so Art Deco, folks. But look, but I dig that chair. I've seen chairs like that. All of this belongs to David. No, I take that back. So only one piece belongs to David Bowie. But it's called almost like a fainting couch, and I've always wanted one. And there's my boy right there. I like that picture. I mean, he was just so iconic. And then one piece. So that belonged to David Bowie. Now I really like that. Isn't that classy? And if you zoom in, you see where that's starting to chip. You're going to need to repair that. Isn't that cool? I like that lamp. That's kind of cool because it's minimalist. There's some minimalist designs.
There he is sitting on the table. That's his table.
Oh.
He's see the picture.
Oh, look at that.
That's his table.
So
his dining table.
he sat on this table. And then
That's his chairs and that's his table.
yeah.
That's all. The whole thing. Pretty cool.
Wow. And that's called the Palm Spring. And then these are the dining chairs. reminds me of, Miami Vice. So it doesn't have that Miami Vice. So y'all remember the 80s show, Miami Vice? So that's like a Miami Vice type of vibe. And so, once again, see, there's David Bowie. And the band weighed next to nothing, and he could sit on his chair, on his table. Kind of cool, huh? I like that. That's the only piece in this thing that belonged to David Bowie, was just the dining room set and the chairs. Now, nothing in here belongs to David Bowie, but I like it. Now, if I was in the 80s, this would have been awesome, but it has such a minimalist Art Deco design. I really like that. But the problem is there's no way I would have bought furniture that was laminate. No, this is just me. And then this is, so did this belong to David Bowie? I don't think there are many. There's nothing here that belongs to David Bowie. But, I mean, I like the color. This would be something you would put in a kid's room. I mean, it's really not functional because laminate doesn't last. You literally, but, I like the simplicity and the minimalist design of it. Would I buy it if I had the money? No. It is 40-something degrees out and it's bloody cold. Okay, so these belong to David Bowie. Remember the gold star? And because it's considered an end table, it's interesting because it's very rare that you find anybody that has the same look at this. So this is, I like that. I like the houses of Palm Springs, California. That is like one place I've been jonesing to go. And these cool. I mean, I like mid-century homes, but like true mid-century. Like the 60s ones. I don't like the 70s ones because I lived in them. It's like, but isn't that cool? You can put your own spin on it. Now, there's a magazine I used to subscribe to, and it's called Schönen Wohnen, which means nice living in German. And they feature a lot of stuff like this. Now, this belonged to David Bowie, and so it's all minimalist Art Deco stuff. But like, for example, Japanese, they feel like if they go to IKEA is minimalist, but it's all Scandinavian clean lines. But no, I'm not going to IKEA. I've got one IKEA piece and that's about it. Isn't that cool? And then this does not belong to David Bowie. I couldn't care less about function. How do you sit on a table? The idea of an idea. That's all fine and good, but my house is not minimalist. Because I think the minimalist reflects a period, the Art Deco period, and the true Art Deco pieces are what you want. I don't like, is this a copy of it? I think in a way it is. It's part Art Deco Scandinavian. But my thing is that I like the real thing. This is kind of cool. But yet I can see David Bowie. I can see David Bowie. Just this is part of who he is. Olivetti. Oh yeah. I won't touch it, but yeah. And the typewriter, it says Valentine. Wow, and here's some. It's nice to be able to. You have the whole museum to yourself. We must be the first ones here, so it's kind of cool. Here. Well, folks, I truly enjoyed my time here. I hope you enjoyed the tour with us. Well, do you have any ending thoughts?
It's beautiful. It's really nice. Nice art, beautiful art, abstract, very abstract. Like I said, I noticed David Bowie's pieces that he owned were all very extravagant, very beautiful. He had taste. He had very, very good taste.
So, you want to take us out of here?
Okay, everybody. Everybody have a good day, and so long.
So, I'm here in the shop, and since nobody is around, I wanted to do a quick tour. I want to see if they have any David Bowie items.
It's a lot of work.
And they got some cool stuff here.
I gotcha, yeah.
Oh, that's a cool. That's a 1920s one. Isn't that neat?
Decide on Wednesday or Thursday or
I just wanted to see if they had any
that is right.
1920s David Bowie, whatever. So, and this is some of the glass they got.
I have your current number. Let me write this down. 407 435 6920.
So these are kind of cool.
Okay.
I don't know how much this is.
I have a couple hats in your car.
All right, I have my note down here. I'll tape it up.
And that's all kind of based upon the designer that we've seen. And then I like those clocks.
I don't know.
Okay,
I probably.
there's my co-host. Okay, so they actually do have some David Bowie stuff. So they have. I wonder what this is. This is. Oh, those are salt and pepper shakers, but they got David Bowie. And then they got. So if you're interested in any David Bowie books, they do have some material here based on the exhibit. I do not like hands. And so $47 for that. I don't think so. And so, see, I like this. But I think they probably want a lot of money. And these are some of the handbags.
I have a question for you. Have you ever done a cruise with Viking Cruise Line?
So,
I was just curious, and I'm thinking about it, so.
I like this bag. $234.
Well, they do ocean cruises, they do ocean, no, probably, from, Amsterdam to Basel.
170.
Yes,
Now I could get 10% off, but
yes.
and then, but I think I'm do another pin here real quick. But we're out of here.
Gotcha, yeah. All right.
Okay,
well,
folks.
look forward to seeing you Wednesday at
It's
11.
always nice to check out the Modern Museum shop. You get 10% off if you went to the museum, but we're walking down the street now, and I just think a lot of this stuff is overpriced. So with that, thank you for watching, and see you in the next travel adventure. Let's go.